All right. Our review this week will be for Mickey 17. So this movie is directed by Bong Joon Ho. His last movie was the Best Picture winner, Parasite, and he also won Best Director. Um, so this is his follow up. So definitely an anticipated movie. Um, so this movie is like a sci-fi comedy, dark comedy movie.
Hmm.
Um, what'd you think?
I thought it was okay. I thought it had some interesting ideas, but it ultimately kind of just falls flat on itself, in my opinion. But I still appreciate the try. Like it wasn't a bad movie. Um, but will this one be talked about for like years to come? Probably not.
Yeah, I would say this is definitely not a banger from him, from the director. Now that being said, I think there's a lot of good parts about the movie. I think the acting is very good in this movie. I mean, Robert Pattinson does a really really good job, and he's playing two people. And the thing is the actor playing two characters usually doesn't work.
Hmm.
Um, and with this, he
No, he did a good job.
definitely
Yeah, this would have been
he
way
you
worse if
he
he didn't pull it off.
yeah, you can tell who the two
Yeah.
are. Like he does a good job of characterizing them, and they're literally they look exactly the same. I
Hmm.
mean, he's a clone,
Yeah.
right? So, but he does such a good job with that. And it's funny, it actually takes a while to even get into having a second
Hmm.
one
This is a
of
long
him.
movie. How long
So
was this movie? Do you know off the top of your head?
it's a little over 2 hours,
Yeah.
like
And I'm
two.
pretty sure they
I
cut
mean,
a lot of stuff because there's some threads that get left open where it was like, why do they even
well,
have this?
they pushed it back like a year. So they definitely cut it, did reshoots and things like that. I don't know if it was just for editing or whatnot. Now I think the movie. So yes, with the acting is really good. I think the it looks really good. Um, I saw it on a nice big screen. I think like it looks really good and it was really well made. It didn't like I felt like they were. I mean, it didn't look all CGI. I think they like I believed they were all on like mostly practical sets and everything.
Yeah.
Um, so that was I liked that. Um, Definitely, it looked like they had all the little bits, the little nuances and little buttons and things when they're in rooms, and it felt lived in, and the characters felt real.
Hmm.
So I liked that. And So he signs. So Mickey signs up to be an expendable on a space expedition to find a new planet. And The expedition is led by Mark Ruffalo's character, something Marshall. I think his last name is Marshall. I can't remember what his first name was, but who is very thinly veiled politician, thinly veiled impersonation or uh, parody of a politician who's very famous in the United States. Uh, so,
Hmm.
uh, yeah, I mean, uh, so yeah, um, they use him for science experiments and stuff. Um, and they just copy him, clone him, and then take the his memories and stuff every time he dies and stuff um, to see what happens and to make vaccines and things like that. Um, I will say I thought the movie was going to be darker than it was and more like brutal and gross and stuff, and it really wasn't. So yeah, I like that. It actually helped me because no one was getting like ripped apart or anything. Like when he died, most of the time they would just like cut away from it or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I thought there was some funny parts. I will say that dark comedy doesn't usually work for me, um, and this is more on like the Snowpiercer um, side than like a Parasite side, where I think Parasite is definitely more like witty and the message is not so in your face. Like Snowpiercer and Okja and stuff like that. It's pretty much like this is the message. Um, uh, with this one has like animal cruelty and you know like politicians and fascism and stuff like that, but it's all kind of just like flat out there for you. But then there's also messages of like smaller messages like interpersonal relationships and looking out for yourself and stuff like that. Um, but I thought the movie overall was good. Um, but yeah, it was pretty long. I mean, with credits, it's like 2 hours and 15 minutes, but I think it's probably a little over 2 hours before the credits start rolling. So, but yeah, I felt the length a little bit, but I was still interested. Like it kept my attention. I think. Um, I um, what you said? You thought it was just too long?
The last act was really long. Like, we're finally coming to the conclusion, and then it went on for like another 45 minutes. Um, Not just that, but yeah, I do think it was too long. Yeah,
Yeah. Um, what do you got? What's your overall rating? You
I'm
think?
probably at a 6. I don't know, maybe a 7 if I'm feeling generous, but 6 is where I'm at. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm at a 7. I just think all the acting was pretty good and kept me engaged. Robert Pattinson, Mark Ruffalo, Tony Collette plays Mark Ruffalo's the politician's wife character. Stephen Yoon um, as a kind of surprisingly kind of a dickhead, which was kind of fun and different. Um, yeah, and then there's like a few other minor characters. There's a girl on the ship. Um, oh, sorry. What's her name? Naomi Aki. What was her character's name?
I don't know.
It's
That
like
was one of the character
I
things
can't.
where it was like, why was this even in the thing?
Nasha? Is it Nasha? That sounds right. Or
Oh, you're
yeah,
talking about.
Nasha.
I thought you were talking about the other lady. Um,
That
mhm.
I was thinking about her, and then I was like, wait, she's the girlfriend is definitely in it more. What's her? I think her name was Nasha. She did a good job. And there's a particular scene with her, which just was interesting. I was like, I thought I was watching Challengers for a second, and
Mhm.
then yeah, but I think that is kind of what someone might do
I
in that
guess I just felt
situation.
like that scene in particular added nothing to the movie other than what it was. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean it. I mean, I guess it moved the plot along a little bit with that other
Yeah,
girl.
but that's my point with the other girl is like, why was she even in the movie? It's like not even. She
Yeah,
had no purpose other than for this scene.
yeah. Like I said, I think well they're showing both sides of people because she's like feels bad and then she wants to be liked by the the politician guy.
Hmm.
So I don't know. But I think everyone did a good job. Like all the actors, even the smaller
I
actors, like
agree.
even
Yeah.
like the doctor scientist lady. I thought she did a good job too. So um, I thought it was pretty fun movie. Um, I like that it's like I know it's based on this movie is based on a book, but I still think it still feels like original, you know.
Mm.
And we're not getting a lot of
No,
kind of
we're not.
things with a point of view.
Yeah.
So this was refreshing in that way. But yeah, I think I'm at like a 7. I thought maybe like a yeah, I think I'm at a 7, maybe a 6.5. Um, but it was a movie that, to be honest, going into it, I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about it, because, like I said, his stuff before Parasite isn't really my cup of tea. Um, so um, yeah. Uh, you want to get into spoilers?
If you want, sure.
Um, so yeah, so Mark Ruffalo is basically playing Trump. Uh, even has like a goofy hairstyle and his kind of mannerisms he's doing and stuff. Um, yeah, there was so the one thing at the very end of this movie, there's a whole like dream sequence
Yeah.
um, that
Completely unnecessary and
I
added nothing to the movie. Yes.
yeah, it was weird. I wasn't. I
I
didn't
have no idea.
understand why they did that.
I'm telling you, they must have
Uh,
cut things out of this movie and they didn't. Like, there has to be
do you
something
think?
else. There had to have been something previously to make that
Well,
make sense.
he's narrating, right?
Hmm.
Mickey, the whole movie. The
Hmm.
character is narrating, and they could have very easily added some lines in there to say, "I always dreamt," or "I was a dreamer," or whatever, because that part could have been in the movie somewhere else, and then they just like added that on. So I think that's a possibility that they just added that and worked around it, maybe. Um, and they liked the scene, so they just did that. I don't know.
I guess. To me, it just was like, what's going on?
Yeah. Um. So I like the. The only other thing is I like the little bug.
The
Uh,
leader.
I don't leader. I don't. What are those like roly poly bug things? Kind of They're like huge things. I don't know. I thought those were kind of interesting. I actually thought that part was interesting for some reason. And I liked their little like communicating and stuff,
Hmm.
and that they. I mean, it was clear that they saved him. It was like a, for some reason, it was like this big revelation in the story, and I was like,
Oh, yeah,
it was
he's
pretty,
a dummy. That's like the point of the show. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Kind of like that they had like the little one and stuff and all that stuff. Yeah, I this was kind of Fallout y to me. That's what the feeling I got. Or what's the one that's like Fallout, but it's in outer
Outer
space?
Worlds.
Outer
Yeah.
Worlds. Yeah. I think that's what I think Bong Joon Ho played those games or liked Fallout or something, and he's like, I'll make I read this book. I think I'll make a movie of this.
Hmm.
Because that's what I got from it. And it did remind me of that Outer Worlds, that that video game show that we watched.
Hmm.
Maybe
Yeah, I said that when the
maybe
trailers
the
came out. I was like, this is kind of the same thing.
maybe the guy who wrote that for the TV show read Mickey 7 is what the book is called.
Uh,
So maybe he read that, maybe he got the idea from that. Um yeah, so maybe I liked it more because I liked that short. Who knows? Um, yeah, I mean, there's not like a ton of spoilers or anything, um, but yeah, there was just like a couple parts that was like kind of weird to me,
Mm-hmm.
um, that I thought we could touch on. So, um, yeah, I mean, I think everybody did a good job. I thought the movie was pretty good, and yeah, Robert Pattinson did a really good job of separating the two versions of Mickey
Yeah,
that
he did do a good
we
job.
can
Yeah.
enjoy. Robert Pattinson is doing pretty good for me. I don't think I've seen him in anything recently that I haven't liked. That I haven't liked him in it. He was good in The Lighthouse. I like him in the Batman, and I liked this movie. I didn't see Tenet, so
Oh, then how
um,
can you say that for sure if you hadn't seen Tenet?
well, I told you what I said. I liked him in the things that I
Mm,
saw. I didn't say he's spectacular in everything that he's in ever.
okay.
So yeah. Um, uh, would you see another movie by this director? This make you want to see another
Um,
whatever he makes next?
sure. I wouldn't say I'm like excited for it. This doesn't. I will
Yeah,
forget about this movie 100%. Right.
yeah, yeah. Would you? Uh, okay. So you're what did you say? 6? You were at a
Yeah, six
6.
for me. Yeah.
Okay. Um, would you say see it, stream it, or skip it?
I'd probably skip it. Um, yeah, I'd probably skip it. I'm assuming you're going to say see it in theaters.
I think it was pretty. I think it was made for the theater. It was like well made. I think you'll just not. I don't know. I think it would be more fun. Well, first of all, my audience that I saw it with was light. I don't know about yours.
There's a few other people in there.
But people were actually reacting to it. So I think if I saw this in the theater with like a good group of people and people were like actually reacting to it, I think this probably would have been more fun. But yeah, my audience was pretty light. I will say next week I saw the next week I've already watched the movie. I saw like a when it was a hidden movie or whatever, but um, I liked seeing that with a nice big audience and getting a good reaction. I think it definitely helps with the movie experience. So I would say to you, you should probably our next week's movie. You should probably check that out. Hopefully, find
Hmm,
a good size theater. With
sure.
a crowd there.
I don't need other
I
people to
definitely,
elevate my movie experience. It should be able to hold
I
on its own.
definitely. Well, first of all, I think you're gonna like the movie. So,
Hmm,
besides the fact, I think it would help even make it even better if you get a good audience in there. Anyway, yeah, I think it helps with seeing movies. So yeah. Yeah, so I'd say check it out. If not, if you don't need to go to the theater, you're not like a big I still think it's worth the time to check it out. Um, so I guess I'd probably say stream it, but if you're so inclined, see it in the theater.
all right. Well, I think that wraps up our review.
Yep, I think that's everything for this week. I
All
think
right. We'll see you guys on the next one. Until then.
this has been the Daniel and Andrew Show. Thank you so much for watching part of the Daniel and Andrew Show. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and hit that bell so you never miss a notification of a brand new video. If you don't like looking at our faces, no problem. There's always a full audio version of the podcast wherever you find your podcast. Thanks, and enjoy.